ever wanted to see me and Travis Haley kill dinosaurs, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Short teaser. Like, comment section is out of control. You guys do you, and I promise I will give you the attention that your parents never did. Guys, a big supporter of the channel right now is Gun Mag Warehouse. Get in there, show them some love, buy magazines from them and that type of thing. I don't have a discount code with them, but they're cool. They support the channel monetarily, so let's give them some support. Teespring for t-shirts or Alonzo Defense Group. There are different offerings on each. And finally, a belt from Alonzo Defense Group, the one that I helped design with them. Discount code Grantham, and that is it, guys. We are going to be talking about American Defense, specifically their Universal Improved Carbine Mod 2. So there are several different mods, but I prefer the Mod 2. I think it's probably the best bang for the buck. They are a little bit more pricey. They're around $18.50. So compared to some of the rifles we talked about, they're actually relatively cheap. But compared to, say, a BCM or something like that, you're definitely going to be spending a little bit more money. Now, before we kind of get into transparency and all that type of thing, I want to note that I am dying of bacterial pneumonia. I'm not really dying, but I'm pretty sick right now. So bear with me in case I sound weird or anything like that, or I start sweating uncontrollably. Just know that, 5 hours ago, I was running a temperature of like 103. So I'm here, all for you. All for you. So, what is my relationship with ADM? So, I know the guys. I've worked with them quite a bit in the past. They've sent me optic mounts and light mounts. They never asked for anything. They're super cool about it. They just wanted to get feedback on it and that type of thing. I'm not paid by them or anything like that. Besides that, I know the guys. Met them at SHOT Show and at other shows, NRA and blah, blah, blah. So, we know each other. We're cool. I'm pretty sure we drank together before. I'm not sure if I remembered or not. Point is I know these guys and that type of thing. Now, is that going to color my reviews? As you guys know in the past, I will destroy things whether or not I know the people, and that always makes for really awkward meetings at further trade shows and that type of thing. But that is the life of a reviewer, right? So regarding this rifle, they asked me if I would review it. They pulled it off the rack, so it wasn't specially made for me or anything like that, and they sent it to me. So I did 5,000 rounds on this particular rifle. With my own ammo, that type of thing. So that is where we are at with this rifle. So let's talk about it. We're just going to go from back to front. We're not going to hit the pros and cons. We're simply going to hit the cons as they come up because I kind of like doing it that way. So the biggest thing with ADM is if you notice the logo is actually pretty much GDI's logo. So I'm pretty sure that they're actually GDI. So Global Defense Initiative has been fighting Kane and Nod for a long time, and that's a hard fight, man. So I think we should really support ADM in their efforts. Hard fight. So first off, buttstock, grip, all Magpul, great. The newer Magpul stuff is pretty good. The lockup on the new buttstocks is awesome. No complaints there. I like the placement of the QD slots. Allows the sling to just come back and around. So I am a big fan there. No complaints. Moving up into the lower. The lower is ambidextrous. That's kind of what sets it apart from some of the other lowers out there, and we'll talk more about the lower in just a second here. But with the Mod 2, they come with Geissele SSA triggers. If you don't know already, I'm a huge fan of Geissele triggers. I think that they're more than likely the best triggers on the market for AR-15s, bar none. So sometimes there are products where it's not the best or the worst or anything like that, but the Geissele, they are hands down the best triggers on the market. So that's an awesome pick. Lower parts are all good. Let's talk a little bit about the ambidextrous functionality of this particular rifle. So on the left-hand side right here, we have a mag release. So for you lefties out there, you are getting some love. Easy to actuate, no problems there. They have oversized the bolt release on the left-hand side. That makes mag changes super simple and fast. So I love the bolt release on this thing, so they did a really good job there. Right side, you have a normal magazine release, and then you have your Bolt release on the right-hand side. Now the bolt release on this particular rifle on the right side, so that'd be your ambi bolt release, is different. So instead of a button, it's a lever that you push down. So when the bolt is locked back, that lever is in the up position, and your finger can make it all the way to the magazine release. Once it is dropped, the bolt is forward, then it is in front of the magazine release. And the point behind that was that you could easily tell when the bolt was locked back and that type of thing. The problem with this particular bolt release is that it isn't quite long enough. It needs to extend out a little bit more, in my opinion, because otherwise I'm always catching my fingernail on the ejection port cover, and this is kind of a pain. So if they would just extend it out a little bit more, I'd be a much bigger fan of it. The lever is a little odd. I do like the buttons a little bit more. So I'm just not as big of a fan of this ambi bolt release as I am on the one on, say, the Radian or the Knight's Armament or something like that. It's not bad. In fact, it is easier to release than the Radian's ambi bolt release. But at the same time, it is a different movement. So it's something that you're going to have to train through or figure out if it works a little bit better for you. Me personally, I prefer the Radian's bolt release, but that's me. So just understand that. Magazine well is flared, easy to insert magazines and that type of thing. Works really well, has great stylization on the lower receiver as well. It looks good. A couple other notes here is they are using a lot of Radian kits. So they've got the Radian Talon, which is the selector switch. And that is at a 45-degree throw, probably among some of the best selectors out there. So good on them there. They're also using the Radian Raptor, which is probably the best charging handle on the market for AR-15s right now. So good on them there. They made good choices by using those two products instead of trying to invent something themselves. Now, sometimes, innovation is kind of interesting, trying your own hand at things. But sometimes when there are already really great products on the market, such as the Geissele triggers or the Radian Raptors and that type of thing, it just makes sense to use them. The upper and the lower are billet. I know a lot of people get really weird about billet. It's not that big of a deal. It of course looks good and that type of thing, but it's not like, with a billet upper and lower, you're gonna suddenly start flying or be amazing or anything like that. They do work very well. So moving forward, let's talk about the barrel. So the barrel is a Criterion barrel. It's nitrided. It's a medium profile. On the end of mine has a permanently affixed Surefire War Comp close tine. So what I want to say about the barrel is, first off, they made a really good choice by using Criterion. Criterion barrels will do sub-MOA with the correct ammo. So if you watched my review on the Radian rifle, you will know that they also guaranteed sub-MOA, but that their barrel was quite heavy compared to the ADM's, which is much lighter. I mean, not hugely lighter, but lighter enough to where you can definitely tell a difference. So why would you choose one over the other? So while both will do sub-MOA, the question is for how long will they be able to do sub-MOA? What I mean by that is as the barrel builds up heat. So with a contour that is thinner, the barrel is going to heat up much faster. The Radian's barrel is much thicker. That adds a lot more weight. However, it's going to be able to hold that sub-MOA pattern for a much longer period of time. So it comes down to, what do you want your rifle to do? Do you want your rifle to be holding as your rifle for long range, or as your rifle for short range and that type of thing? Are you going to be moving with your rifle, doing CQB and that type of thing? So it's not a, one is better than the other. It's more of a, what do you want to do with your rifle? And that will kind of help guide your choices. Moving from there, the Handguard. So the Handguard is actually my second favorite handguard on the market right now. My most favorite one being Bravo Company's M-Lock handguard, their MCMR. So this handguard is really well made. It's really thin. It's really easy to grip. I'm a huge fan of it. There are no QD slots on it, and that's totally fine. So I just added a BCM QD mount right up here up front for my sling. But honestly, they're some of my favorites. Now, one thing that we can't really explain or kind of through specs and that type of thing is, how does a rifle feel when it's shooting and that type of thing. So I think we've hit a really good kind of point in AR-15 kind of manufacturing where a well-built AR-15, so a Radian, a Knight's Armament, an ADM, Bravo Company, when they're well built, they will pretty much just stay on target as fast as you can pull their Geissele triggers. And will have a very smooth recoil impulse and all that type of thing. Now this one does have a smoother recoil impulse than a Bravo company, and it has a little bit higher of a price tag. It is really easy to keep this thing on target when you are just shredding targets. So it's been a real pleasure to shoot as many rounds of this thing as I have. As far as accuracy is concerned, I pushed this out to around 400. Not super far, but it's definitely held its own. Fairly easy to push out to that distance with this particular rifle. So I've been a big fan of it. I think that they did a really good job putting everything together. Now, before we kind of finish up here, I wanted to take a moment to talk about how I have everything set up, because I know you guys are going to ask. So first off, I have QD mounts front and back on the sling. The sling is a Haley Strategic sling. Big fan of it. He makes some really good stuff. The optic is an Elcan Specter dual roll. Have a review on it. Love this particular optic. Really well made. I know some people hate it, but I love it. Moving up to the handstop, I have a Bravo Zero handstop. Big fan of those. Been using them on a lot of my rifles recently. Moving up, I have some rail scales on the side right here, and then I have an Arisaka 600 series light, and then I have a DBAL A3 for night vision work. Now for the light, I have the pressure pad up top. I'm using the light a lot more, and then I have a pressure pad for the DBAL on the left-hand side, but most of the time I just reach over top and just actuate the button right there. So that is my particular setup on this rifle. The biggest thing when you're selecting a rifle, guys, is does it look cool? Undoubtedly, the ADM is a really cool looking rifle, and plus it comes with Magpul Pro sights, so it doesn't get much cooler than that. But what's really going to make you look cool is training. So make sure you get some training, guys. Esoteric, Cogworks, Bear Solutions, Haley Strategic, all great companies that will make you look good with the ADM. ADM is an awesome rifle, guys. I don't think you're going to be sad if you buy it. It is another option in a growing list of some really well-built ARs. So get in there, guys. Do your research. Find the one that works for you. And as always, guys, stay looking cool. I appreciate you guys. And I've got nothing else for you. Okay, guys, I literally have nothing else for you because I am dying of bacterial pneumonia right now. So love you guys. Peace.